Hello everyone. This is today's Hindu newspaper's second editorial article. 13 March Hindu newspaper's second editorial article. The article's heading is New Reality. The heading is New Reality, as you can see, and the subheading is Saudi Arabia, Iran should be mindful of pitfalls ahead while seeking a cold peace. So this article is basically about two nations, two Asian nations, Middle Eastern nations. One is Saudi Arabia, which is an Arabic country. You know, Saudi is an Arabic country. Okay, and the second one is Iran. Many people think that Iran is also an Arabic country, but actually Iran is not an Arabic country. That you have to keep in your mind, that Iran is not an Arabic country. Okay, so you know that for a long time the diplomatic relation between Saudi Arabia and Iran, it was always kind of up and down. Like there has always been a kind of enmity that prevailed between these two nations. So Saudi is basically a Sunni Islamic state. Okay, Saudi is Sunni Islamic state. Okay, and Saudi Arabia is ruled by the king of Saudi. Okay, so this is a monarchy. There is no democracy in Saudi Arabia. This is a monarchy state. Okay, and their religion is Sunni Islamic religion. Okay, on the other hand, Iran is Shia. Iran is Shia Islamic state. So both are Islamic, but the way they follow the religion, the way that is different. Saudi is Sunni, Iran is Shia, and the Iran is run by, or the Iran is the administrative structure of Iran is, it is a theocracy. Okay, Iran is a theocracy. So I'm writing it down. Iran is a theocracy. Okay, so what do you mean by theocracy? Theocracy is a kind of autocracy, or it is a kind of dictatorship which is mainly run by the clerics or preachers. Okay, so Saudi and Iran both are autocratic countries. Like there is no democracy in both of them. You can say that. But in Saudi, who runs the country? It is their king. Okay, their king runs the country. It is a monarchy. But in Iran, who runs the country? It is the supreme leader of Iran. He is also the religious leader. So Iran is run by the mullahs, or the religious preachers. Okay, there is no kingship in Iran. Before the Islamic revolution of Iran, there was the king of Iran, the Shahs of Iran, but now it is being run by the Muslim clerics. Okay, so let us start reading the article. So it is the Saudi-Iran reconciliation in a China brokered agreement reflects the new reality in West Asia, where old rivals are warming up to each other, and Beijing is increasingly willing to play a bigger role at a time when the United States, the region's traditional great power, is preoccupied with challenges elsewhere. So you can see that there was the Saudi and the relationship, the diplomatic relationship between Saudi and Iran, it was severed. Okay, the relationship, the tie was cut for last few years. When did it happen? It happened in 2016. In 2016, wait, sorry. In 2016, Saudi Arabia and Iran, they cut their diplomatic ties. Okay, why did they cut their diplomatic ties? Because there was one Shia Muslim cleric in Saudi Arabia who was executed by Saudi Arabian government. Okay, there was an Shia Muslim cleric in Saudi Arabia who was executed by Saudi administration. And in retaliation, the Saudi embassy in Iran's capital Tehran, the Saudi embassy in Iran's capital Tehran, it was attacked by the people of the Iran, the citizens of Iran. Okay, so after as the aftermath, Saudi and Iran both came to an agreement, or we should not say they came to an agreement. It was like that the both decided that it would be better if they cut the diplomatic ties. Okay, so since then there was always like a kind of their diplomatic relations were frozen. Okay, so in recent days, just few days back, China, okay, China, they kind of acted like a mediator. They kind of acted like a peace broker or mediator. China managed to bring these two rivals, these two enemies, you can say enemies, rivals, whatever you want to like. So China managed to bring these two rivals to a discussion table, and they managed to reconciliate their diplomatic relation. They managed to uh, bring these two nations to a peace agreement. Okay, or you can say there has been a thaw in their frozen diplomatic relationship. And who is the broker or who is the mediator? The mediator is China. Okay, so as the editor has said that old rivals, because you know this rivalry between Saudi and Iran, it goes a long back. Okay, so he's saying that old rivals in West Asia, because both of these are West Asian countries, so the relationship between the old rivals are gradually warming up. So the frozen relationship is kind of warming up. And who is the main player behind it? Beijing, that is China. China is the main player behind it. So China is willing to play a bigger role at a time when the US, the region's traditional great power, is preoccupied with challenges elsewhere. So you know that United States is this in recent past, for last 1 year, US is completely busy with Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, so United States of America's main focus has been in the backing of Ukraine in the Russia-Ukraine war, and right now they see that suppressing Russia and winning the war is the main, winning the proxy war. I will not say war, because this is not America's war, but America is helping Ukraine to fight Russia. So this is kind of a proxy war for America. So now the main objective of America for last 1 year is to focus in the Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, so as US is preoccupied with challenges elsewhere, this elsewhere means Russia-Ukraine war, and they are not giving that much of attention in the West Asian political development right now. Okay, so who has come to fill the vacancy? This is China. So when US is not giving that much of attention because US is busy helping Ukraine to fight Russia, so China comes to fill that vacancy, because you know there has been a superpower competition going on right now between US and China, because they are also kind of a rival. Okay, so China is trying to multiply their influence. China is trying to expand their influence, their diplomacy in the West Asia region, and they have brokered this agreement. Okay, next line is the enmity between Iran. So the enmity between Iran, a Shia majority theocracy, and Saudi Arabia, a Sunni majority absolute monarchy, has been one of the dominant drivers of conflicts in the region. As I have already explained that Iran is a Shia majority. I already said that the Shia Muslims, Iran is mainly occupied by Shia Muslims. Okay, And theocracy, this word I already explained it. It is when the autocracy is run by the clerics, okay, the preachers. And Saudi Arabia is a Sunni majority country, and it is absolute monarchy. Like the king of Saudi rules the country, okay. So their rivalry was the main dominant driver in the conflicts in the region. So in the West Asia region, the reason of the conflict is mainly fueled by the rivalry between Iran and Saudi Arabia and other allied countries of Saudi Arabia, okay. Next, while the details are yet to be unveiled, officials say Iran has agreed to prevent attacks against Saudi Arabia, including those from the Houthi controlled parts of Yemen, and both countries would restore full diplomatic relations which were severed in 2016. Okay, so as the news has confirmed that there has been an agreement, you can say there has been an agreement that Iran will control Houthi controlled parts of Yemen, the attacks from Houthi controlled parts of Yemen. So Yemen, this is also an West Asian country. Yemen is also a Muslim country and a West Asian country, and Yemen is a neighbor of Saudi Arabia, okay. Yemen is a neighboring country of Saudi Arabia. So in the northern part of Yemen there is one rebel group, okay. In the northern part of Yemen, this country, in the northern part of Yemen there is one rebel group. That rebel group is called Houthi rebels, okay, Houthi rebels. So these Houthis are also Shia Muslim. They are not Sunni Muslim, they are Shia Muslims, okay. So you can easily deduce that who will be backing these Houthi rebels. Of course it is Iran, because Iran is also Shia Muslim country, okay. So Iran is backing these Houthi rebels in Yemen, and Saudi Arabia is backing Yemen's government, okay. Saudi Arabia is backing, or they are supporting the Yemen's incumbent government, and Iran is backing these Houthi rebels. So these Houthi rebels mainly they control the northwestern province of Yemen, okay. So northwestern province of Yemen is mainly controlled by the Houthi rebels. So what Houthi rebels do, they generally attack the soil of Saudi by drone or by missile or other fire powers, ammunitions. They attack part of Saudi Arabia from this northwestern province of Yemen, okay. So as you know that Iran is supporting these Houthi rebels, and Iran also, people say that the news goes that Iran funds these Houthi rebels by financially and also militarily. Like Iran supplies the arms and ammunition to these Houthi rebels. So Iran has great influence on their policy, okay. So Iran has agreed that they will convince the Houthi rebels to stop attacking Saudi Arabia's soil, okay. Iran, as the agreement has taken place between Saudi Arabia and Iran has agreed that they will convince the Houthi rebels, or they will make the Houthi rebels stop attacking Saudi Arabian soil in further, okay. And they will restore the full diplomatic relations which was severed in 2016. I already told you that after that execution of the Muslim cleric in Saudi Arabia, and just after that, when the Saudi embassy in Iran's Tehran, it was attacked by Iran forces, then the diplomatic relation between these two countries were severed in 2016. Now they are again restoring it fully, totally, okay. Next, in recent years, West Asia has seen similar realignments. In 2020, the UAE was among the first Arab countries to normalize ties with Israel in a quarter century. Now, in recent years, same kind of developments realignments, better to say realignments, have taken place in West Asia's polity. Okay, as you know, in the year 2020, United Arab Emirates (UAE), this is United Arab Emirates. Okay, so this country, this Arabic nation, also normalized their diplomatic ties with Israel. Okay, you know that Israel for last few decades, almost all of the Arabic nations, all of the Muslim nations, almost all of the Middle Eastern nations, they had they treated Israel like their number one enemy. Okay, most of the Middle Eastern nations, they were they treated Israel like their number one enemy, and they had no diplomatic ties with this country, this Israel. Israel is a Jewish state. Okay, Israel is a Jewish state. Like the main religion of Israel is Jew. Okay, and UAE is a Muslim country. So UAE was the first Muslim country in Arabic nations, okay, to normalize their diplomatic ties with Israel in 2020. So that was also a kind of realignment, because these two nations were kind of a rival, a kind of an enemy, but still they agreed to realign their diplomatic relation. And just like that, now in 2023, as we can see, Saudi Arabia and Iran, these two countries have finally agreed to restore their diplomatic ties. Okay, so editor is trying to show us some kind of similarity. So same thing is recurringly happening in the West Asia region. The following years saw the Arab world and Israel faced with the common Iran challenge, deepening their cooperation despite Israel's brutal occupation of Palestine territory. So when in 2020 the UAE and Israel governments finally agreed to restore their diplomatic ties, subsequently after 2020 in following years, in the Arab world, most of the Arabic countries were more concerned by the Iran challenge rather than the Israel challenge. So it means that the enmity between Israel and other Arabic Muslim countries were decreasing, and the rivalry between these Arabic Muslim countries and Iran was rising. Okay, the enmity between Israel and other Muslim Arabic countries was decreasing, and the enmity or the rivalry between these Muslim Arabic countries and Iran was rising. So what happened? So they reconciliated with Israel, even though Israel continued to brutally occupy the Palestinian territory. You know, Palestine is a nation, or it is better to say that it is a disputed territory. Okay, because Palestine and Iran's relation goes long back. Palestine and Israel's this rivalry goes a long back. So Israel is controlling a large portion of Palestinian territory. Okay, Gaza Strip and West Bank. So maybe in some other topic we'll discuss about that. So most of the Muslim Arabic nations were critics of that occupation, Israel's occupation of Palestinian territory. But in recent years, they have softened their stand. They have softened their stand on Israel's occupation on Palestinian territory. Okay. Next, as the US has deprioritized West Asia, it is now heavily focused on Ukraine and countering China Indo-Pacific influence. Its allies in West Asia have started looking out for solution for what they see as America's diminishing security guarantees. I already explained that America has focused totally on Russia-Ukraine war, and this is their primary focus, and their secondary focus has been China's growing influence in Indo-Pacific region. Okay, so right now the USA is not that much concerned about the political development in West Asia. So what happened? These West Asian countries, they have now started to looking for solutions, because as America is not giving their security guarantees anymore, so they thought that it would be better to reconcile their relationship with Iran, because Iran is a growing power in this West Asia. Iran has a very developed weapon program, and some countries also allege that Iran is trying to develop a nuclear program and all. So they thought that it would be better for them, as US is not attentive to that region anymore, so it will be better if they reconcile their ties with these old rivals. Okay, so next, the agreement also marks China's arrival in West Asia as a power broker. As I already told that, as US, as United States of America is no more that much concerned about the political development of West Asia, so who has come to fill the blank? It is China. As you know that China is already in a bitter fight with US, not in a actual fight, but it is kind of a cold war between US and China that is going on for last few years. Okay, and in recent past, after the third time election of Xi Jinping as China's president, okay, after his third term, it has been the relationship between US and China has stooped to a new low, because in just few days back, Xi Jinping, he directly mentioned the name of US, that US is trying to suppress China, it is trying to dominate China, and US is the main hurdle between China's development. Okay, so as you can see, that diplomatic relation between US and China has stooped to a new low. So it is very obvious that China is trying to grow their influence in the West Asia region, as US is not that much attentive right now in this region. Okay, so what China is doing, number one, China is trying to build a influential diplomatic relationship with the countries in the West Asia region. The second one is, China knows it very well that conflict is not good for business, and you know that China is mainly a business centric economy. Okay, so they are in everywhere, in each and every kind of business China is there. So they knows it very well that less conflict means booming business. So that is also a reason for China to broker this agreement. Okay, now China has been involved in multilateral peace talks such as the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, from which the US unilaterally withdrew in 2018. But this is the first time Beijing is using its leverage directly to bring conflicting parties to reconciliation. So there was a nuclear deal between Iran and United States. Okay, so this was the Iran nuclear deal. It took place in 2015. Okay, so actually that was a multilateral peace talk, multilateral nuclear deal, because there are other parties too, like UK, France, then China. These parties were also there in the multilateral nuclear deal. Okay, so this deal took place in 2015, but United States unilaterally withdrew from this deal in 2018. Donald Trump, the former US president, he decided to withdraw from this US-Iran nuclear deal, because he thought that Iran is not abiding by the terms and conditions of the deal. Okay, so in that multilateral deal that was agreed on 2015, China was a party of it. But this is the first time Beijing is using its leverage directly to bring conflicting parties to reconciliation. So this is the first time it is happening that Beijing is the main intermediator. Beijing is the main, or the primary broker or primary mediator, who has managed to bring these two rivalry nations to finally come to a peace agreement. Okay, So this is a completely new development. Next is stability in West Asia. A major energy source is essential for China, which is the world's largest oil importer. As I already told that China is all about business, okay, and they know it very well that when it comes to conflict or war, these kind of things are not good for business. If you if you want to run a stable business, if you want profits to be generated in a regular basis, then there has to be stability in that region. Okay, so what China is trying to do, they are trying to stable the region. They are trying to bring an end to the conflict that is going on between these nations in the West Asia, so that their oil import can be cheaper. Okay, because China is right now is the world's largest oil importer, and most of these Arabic nations and also Iran, they are the oil producer countries. So the less the conflict, the cheaper will be the oil price. Okay, next, and unlike the US, which has hostile ties with Iran, Beijing enjoys good ties with Tehran and Riyadh as a leading oil buyer and trading partner, respectively. So the relationship between Saudi Arabia and America, that is good. You can say that Saudi Arabia is a kind of alliance to allied country to America, but the relationship between US and Iran has never been in a good terms. Okay, the relationship between US and Iran was never good. But in case of China, China has a good diplomatic ties or good relationship with both of these countries. They have a good relationship with Saudi Arabia, and they also have a good relationship with Iran. Okay, so that is the main reason that China could influence both of the parties. Okay, they could bring both of the parties to the agreement table. This has put China in a unique position to bring two of the region's most significant powers closer, as I already told. Saudi Arabia, which is undergoing rapid changes, wants peace in its neighborhood, while Iran, which is under the US imposed sanctions, wants more diplomatic and economic openings. So, Saudi Arabia, it is going through a lot of rapid changes. There are many financial and societal changes going on in Saudi Arabia, and what they need a conflict-free region in the neighborhood. Okay, but in the other hand, Iran is severely suppressed by various economic sanctions imposed by United States. Okay, mainly in the time of Donald Trump's presidential, when Donald Trump was president, he withdrew from the nuclear deal, and after that, various economic sanctions were imposed on Iran. Okay, so when some kind of economic sanctions are imposed on some country, then they need to find out new routes, or they need to find out new modes of profit generation, new modes of business, new modes of trading and all. Okay, so what Iran wants right now, they want new diplomatic relationship, they want new economic openings, so they can, this burden of economic sanctions can be eased out. Okay, so if the detente holds, it will have far-reaching implications on regional geopolitics, from peace in Yemen to stability in Lebanon. So editor is saying that if this agreement, this peace talk ultimately holds in the coming future, okay, if this peace talk is actually comes out to be effective, okay, if the diplomatic relations actually restores to it full phase, then it will have a far-reaching implication, like it will have a fast-reaching effect on the whole region's geopolitics. It may bring peace to Yemen, as I already said that Yemen's government is backed by Saudi Arabia, and Yemen's Houthi rebels, they are backed by Iran. So if Saudi and Iran comes closer, if their diplomatic ties restores, then it may be possible that these two countries can also bring a peace agreement between Yemen's incumbent government and the Houthi rebels also, and that will bring a peace in Yemen. Okay, and they can also bring stability in Lebanon region, Lebanon country. Okay, but it is too early to say whether peace would hold between the two, given their multi-layered enmity. But there is still kind of confusion or dilemma, because it is not only a peace agreement has taken place. It does not guarantee, it does not ensure that this agreement will hold for a long days, for a long term in a coming future. Okay, just because the China has been able to broker a peace agreement between these two rival nations does not mean that it will hold for a long time in the future, because they had multi-layered enmity, because there are various issues. There are religious issues. There one is Shia Islamic country, another one is Sunni Islamic country. There are economic issues. There are military issues, because both of the countries want to increase their influence in the Middle Eastern region, in the West Asia region. Okay, so and there are the bitter history that has involved in their diplomatic relations also. So it is the peace agreement does not ensure, it does not guarantee that this will hold for a long time in the coming future. Okay, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and China should be mindful of pitfalls ahead and continue to build on the momentum created now to achieve a cold peace between the two regional powers. So, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and China should be aware that this peace agreement cannot be the last stepping stone between the unthawing the between the restoring the relationship, the diplomatic relationship totally. Okay, it cannot be the last stepping stone. There has to be subsequent efforts. There has to be subsequent various there is a long road ahead. There is a long road ahead of each of these nations to actually materialize the agreement, because their history, their culture, their economic national interest, their economic affairs, their military, what should I say, their military dream in the region, all these things will influence how they are going to act in the coming days. Okay, how their diplomatic relationships, how their bilateral relationships, how their multilateral relationships will develop in the coming years. It everything will affect the peace of this region. Okay, so there are a lot of pitfalls ahead, and they have to continuously work on it. They have to continuously work on their diplomatic relationship, so that the momentum that has been created by this peace agreement, that does not hits a break. Okay, so that the cold peace, because the peace right now can be termed as a cold peace. It has not been a hugging and all kind of peace that from this day onwards we will be friends and there will be no more war and something like that. It is not like that. Okay, so these two regional powers, because Saudi and this Iran, they both are regional powers, so uh, there will be their respective ambitions also. So how they act in the coming days, that will be the deciding factor that whether this peace agreement will hold or not. Thank you. If you like my analysis, then please subscribe to my channel, share my videos with your friends and other aspirants. It will obviously uh, it will mean a lot to me, and it will surely motivate me to create more such videos. Okay, thank you all.